the hospital corridor. She says the baby's not breathing, and they were just like panicking. Nurses whisked the baby out. After like a few minutes, they came back. They're like, the baby didn't make it, and then her life. She said literally at that moment, everything stopped for her. There was a lot of blame.
So what did the doctors conclude had happened to the
She said they didn't, because I did ask, she said they didn't get like a full autopsy on the baby.
They didn't want one?
I don't know if they didn't want one or what, but after that, because I asked, I remember last time when we spoke, you said I should ask, because I know she's never spoken about what was the cause, but she said they didn't follow up in terms of what was wrong with the baby. What have led to her death, rather.
So you were saying after that there was a lot of blame.
So for her, there was like a lot of agony from her side also, just because she felt like she was entitled to the baby and she had dreams of this baby, and she then went home and she couldn't be in that space in her house anymore. Sorry, then they had to cremate the baby, but they kept the ashes at home, so it was like a last thing that she had of the baby, like a physical thing of her child. And then they started travel. Her and Kulu just embarked on a journey of traveling, but also because she couldn't stand being in the house and with the baby. I think she believed the baby had died, but in home, so she couldn't be in that space. And then also she said her baby became a path to answer her calling, her spiritual calling, and connecting with her spirituality. So it was that she almost felt like the death of her child opened up so many things that she had put on hold, because she had dreams, but she's like, now I'm a mother, I'm expecting the second child, I can't do all other things I needed to, but the death of her daughter almost was a gateway to say, let me go and answer this calling, let me do this, let me...
How old was the other child at the time?
6-7 months.
Jeez, that's such a tiny gap, eh?
Yeah, so baby, the other one was still very, very young, wasn't over a year, because he was born, I think, August, somewhere like, but baby was still very young. And then she then remembers one day she went upstairs to her room, and then as she opened the door, she was greeted by flames.
What? Oh, jeez. And then?
And then she came downstairs, the house is on fire, and then at that moment she realized her baby's ash was in there, and then almost the agony of the only last remaining thing of my child.
Amani.
Am I reading it properly?
Amani Amaza Wamazulu. Skenjana.
Skenjana is Kulu's last name.
Okay.
Yeah. And then...
That's heavy, hey?
Yeah, and then Fikile... So Fikile had a very difficult... So when we first got the story, we just didn't know where to place her.
Yes.
Because her mom had died of HIV, but she didn't disclose. She's 31 years old. And then moved to her aunt, her relative, who only disclosed later that her mom actually died of HIV, and her sister.
When she was how old?
Let me just go back. She was still very young though, because
I won't mention it if it's not relevant to the story.
It's not really relevant. I'm just giving you
background. Okay, cool.
And then she had to move in with a relative, and from relative she went to move in with her sister, and her sister was just drinking a lot, and not taking care of her kids, and she then became, and she was still in school here, high school. Then she became sort of like raising her sister's kids, because her sister was just like gallivanting, drinking, and then she also started going out with her own friends, and that's how she met the boyfriend. And then 2018, she met this guy and she met this guy when she was in high school, and this guy was like 4 years older than her. She just felt safe in the guy because she never had a father figure mom. So it was just like a good relationship at the beginning. The guy was working a good job, and then where's my research? So the guy was working a good job, fell pregnant in 2018. They both were excited about their pregnancy. They started saving, and they were looking forward to the pregnancy, and everything was swell between the two of them at the first early stages of the pregnancy. And then as the months progressed, baby boy started changing, started cheating, and she then started feeling alone. in the pregnancy, and there were like a lot of girlfriends, and she wanted to leave initially to say, actually, you know what, I want the relationship to end so I can just go and raise the kids, the child by myself. But she had then felt, because when he met her, he was literally at the low. Mom had died, they had no money. Sister was there, but sister also got sick and died on top of that. So she also almost like she felt she owed this guy.
Because he stuck by her.
Yes, the loyalty and that. So that was something that she grappled with. Whether do I leave this cheating man now that he's now cheating that I'm pregnant? And she remembers just on the 8th month, the guy came in. She wasn't feeling well, but it was time for their prenatal checkup. So they said they went in and everything was fine, and then the guy then left, and then later that night, she then had contractions. Then she called, the guy came in, and they rushed her to hospital, but she didn't know she was going to have a baby. She just and
she thought it was just something going on.
Yeah, and then she then gave birth to like a month premature baby, and the baby was in hospital in the hospital for a couple of days. And then she was discharged 2 days after giving birth, but the baby had to stay in hospital because they said also the baby is struggling to breathe at that point, and then she then left. And then finally, after 2 weeks, they said she must come and get the baby. She was happy. She's looking forward to having a mom. And you know, for once in her life, she almost felt like something was
coming together.
And she's looking forward to being a mom. And then they didn't say anything was wrong with the baby when the baby was discharged. And then she got home, and the baby started getting sick. Rushed the baby to hospital, and then the baby was then diagnosed with meningitis. She didn't know what meningitis is. Had no idea. She never
heard of it.
Had never heard of it, and then the baby then died after 18 days.
So was the baby in the hospital when the baby died?
The baby died after 18 days, and then from then, she lost herself. She got consumed. This was consumed by the death, but also the relationship started to drift apart even further after that, because
very few couples survive the loss of a child.
And then they started, what do you call this?
Couples counseling?
No, blaming each other.
Oh, okay, yes.
And then, 2019, she said she fell pregnant again. But and this was the interesting part for her when I spoke to her. And, I'm going to remind her to talk about it, because when she fell pregnant again, in her head she wanted to replace her lost child. This pregnancy was a consolation, but also just replacing the baby that I just lost. And now this was from the same boyfriend, so they had baby boy.
So they got back together.
Yeah, things, but they were drifting apart, but they were something. Things were bringing them together. So they had this baby, but it was also a very confusing period for her. And then gave birth to a healthy baby son who was 18 months now. This was 2019, so 18 months now. And then, but also during the second pregnancy, she was just nervous because
of what you went through.
Previously things. So she was just very scared. Even when she fell pregnant, she didn't want to leave the baby. So she was scared. And then sadly, her boyfriend died.
What?
Quick update. Everything is set. Mona is on, but we are having problems with her audio. So we're just trying to help her.
Now?
Audio on her side. She can't hear us. We can't hear her.
Oh, that audio.
Yeah.
I thought you meant the same problem we had yesterday.
No, Zoom audio.
Call us when you're ready.
All right.
So
is the guest on set and mic?
Yes.
So, just wait. I'll just speak to her first before you walk in. 2020, then boyfriend was involved in an accident and died, and then 2021 she lost her job. So she's pretty in a bad shape. But let's get the story going. So there's a lot of things happening with her.
Is she okay this morning?
She is okay. She isn't okay. I'll speak to her, and I'll make.
I feel because my energies are a little bit off this morning. I feel like I just need to have a moment to center myself because
do that.
She's in the middle of.
Yeah, she's
crisis.
She's in the middle of crisis. In the middle of a storm.
It's not like
It's not like
and I'm very sensitive today. I'm not even gonna front. I'm like Today I'm sensitive. I'm not gonna front. It's been.
Yes. I haven't got hold of Victorian yet, Stacey's mom, in terms of, because I know she's coming, but she hasn't picked up my call. I still need to do that to ask her to be on the show. Center yourself. I'll just go speak to her.
So the second lady's name again?
Fikliwe.
Fikliwe. And then you must ask Mona how does she want me to call her?
Okay.
Mona, or what's on the or full name or what?
Mona. Full name.
From us.
I thought we all remember the story. So I remember tell every detail. So we were excited and we started planning saving for the baby and all that. But don't mention the baby died. Hospitalized.
I'm not saying.
2 weeks. I don't know if you told me. I met my boyfriend this and year. We were happy. I got pregnant in 2018.
Are you
and then tell us how you found out you were pregnant. So don't give us details. And who was the first person you told and how did you tell your husband how happy he was that you were pregnant? Do you know what I mean? Tell us all the details. So that we can now start asking questions. So whenever they will ask a question, don't give like general answers. Don't say, it was fine. She hates it because you don't say, what do you mean it was fine? We need to tell you watched this before, I'm pregnant and not happy the both of you are pregnant and all those sort of things. And then she's not finished that, and then she's like, and then what happened? Then you can continue, something like that. Do you get me? But speaking details, don't move stories. Start the whole, from 2018, so when we found out the baby was sick, so build the story out, narrate the story, tell us bit by bit, but in lots of information, all the details, don't leave anything apart. And be comfortable and speak up. She's gonna come soon. She's just a bit emotional because she's got a new baby, and then your story and the guest who's on Zoom story sort of like touched her. I can ask you. Okay, come.